Why does your door plate read Hans Albertsen?
I'm Norwegian. I was born here.
You're a Jew.
Sometimes you have to pretend to survive.
The way this came about was I co-founded an initiative called the U.S.-Norway Film Development Initiative, and that came out of several trips that I was brought to the country of Norway to kind of highlight their talent that they have over there and what they were doing for film and television in trying to attract more international co-productions or producers or projects to be filmed there or work with their talent. And so we did this script competition with all the regions in Norway, and that's how we found the script called The Birdcatcher. And it was written by a lovely gentleman, Trond Morten Christensen Venison. And Trond went to film school with two sisters whose families are from Trondheim, who are Jewish. And the story is loosely based on their family's true accounts, in addition to the copious amount of research that Trond has done on, that particular time of occupied Norway. And so he purposely set it in the winter because one of the true accounts did actually happen during the winter. And I also think it definitely showed, it highlights Norway for Norway. I mean, that there's a lot of snow a significant portion time of the year in that part of Trondheim, Norway. So, and I think visually it was the right time period to do it as well.
The original script is fantastic. I came to it through Lisa. We met in Cannes. She gave me the script to read. I immediately liked the story, and I met Trond a number of times, the screenwriter, and he did a brilliant job with it.
What are you doing out here, boy?
Trond did a lot of research, and he was in Trondheim as a student when he first wrote the script, and he had a friend that was a Jewish woman that he was good friends with, and that's how the story first started. Then from there, as a crew, as production, we went to the synagogue. We went to meet the woman in charge of the local Jewish museum there. Her grandfather had been shipped off to Auschwitz and had miraculously survived and had come back to Trondheim and had managed to put together this historical archive of the families that had lived there. And some of the people had survived and come back. Some had escaped. Sadly, most of them were killed in the Holocaust. And then, even the wardrobe and the production department, they both worked on World War II films before, and they both had historians that they went to. So there was, the Norwegians have a lot of pride in their history, and they were very keen to get things absolutely accurate. I would be surprised if any historian could fault the accuracy of the whether it was the props or the furniture or the locations or the wardrobe. What happened, because it really was very thorough, and it was not just myself, but across all departments. People really went into a huge amount of detail to really create this world. And I think that's important in movies. Detail is important. So the more detail you have, the more believable the world becomes.
Why does your door plate read Hans Albertsen?
I'm Norwegian. I was born here.
You're a Jew.
There was three things I did to try and change it a little bit. One was the point of view. In the script, it was much more a multiple point of view. So you got scenes where it was just, shall we say, Herman or Jonah and Aksel, and you had scenes where she wasn't present in the film, and so we changed that so that it was only from her point of view, and I think that increased the intensity of the piece. So we went for a singular point of view, and then we also introduced the Shakespeare because I felt like that really helped to get us a sense of her really wanting to be an actress, and also this idea that she kind of becomes Lady Macbeth in that she starts, in order to survive, she starts to have to manipulate those around her. And then, and then the last change, I guess, was the addition of the dreams, which also helped, I think, get her internal world clearer.
Let's see what you're made of. Here, I'll show you.
What? Yeah!
I mean, in terms of the challenges, it's always hard in the snow, obviously, although I think less so for a Norwegian crew than anybody else. It was more for me as an English person. The Norwegian crew kind of handled that very well and were very adept at all of that, really. I guess time is always a challenge on these films as well. You don't have many days, so you're always working under pressure. And but we had great crew, and we had great, as you can see, we had great actors and performances. So when you cast well, you save time. And when you have good crew, you save time, and that time is always your enemy on a film set.
You must be brave, Esther.
Sometimes you have to pretend to survive.
What really makes The Birdcatcher a festival-worthy film is the fact that the themes of The Birdcatcher, even though that it's set in a time period of 1940, occupied Norway, and dealing with very serious issues of Holocaust survivor stories, it is still the way in which the film was directed, acted, produced, and turned out. Number one, looks like a way more expensive studio movie, I think. First of all, it is in the English language, which then appeals to a broader festival audience internationally. But then also the themes, those themes that are in the film here, are actually quite relevant to the geopolitical landscape that we're in right now. As far as 1 minute you belong to a group or a tribe, and the next minute, because of your skin color or religion choice or sexual orientation or geography of where you live, no longer are you a part of that community, and then you're forced to find out where that identity is.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
An actress. Hey! You're a girl.
When we're finishing the shoot of film, it's sad to leave the character behind, but I don't know what to say, but because it's a sad, it's a sad story. The film is called The Birdcatcher, and in some way he is the bird catcher, but in other ways he is kind of the bird, I think, because he's trapped in this place, and he's trapped in his body. Yeah, maybe that, and then he meets Esther, and then she makes him fly. At that time in Norway, disabled people were looked at as diseases, as the same way as the Jews, and it's terrible, terrible part of history. My little brother actually has cerebral palsy as well, so I got a lot of what do you say? Because I grew up with my brother, and I know a lot about that diagnosis. Yeah, it's definitely the physical part of the role. I actually went to we went to the same place as my little brother goes to make braces to make his foot better. But this time we went there to make a brace to lock my left foot in this weird position. And I had to wear that brace every single day and walk around in this weird way. And it was tough after, because we were filming for 6 weeks, I think. And I hurt my other leg doing that, so I had to go to a therapist after the shoot to fix my body.
I guess it's the flip side of what the Nazis tried to do to the Jews, and the way in which they did the Holocaust was to dehumanize people. And actually, I think, when you look at everyone's humanity, you realize we're all conflicted, and we all have human qualities that are in war get compromised. And that was really what it was about. And that's why the forgiveness aspect was important, that these two women.
It speaks to many levels, right? Woman to woman, right? Mother to child. It speaks to Esther possibly being a mother later in life, and how Anna, almost was like an adopted mother in a sense. And then it also speaks to the fact that human to human, right? No matter what, when people come through something, if there's true humanity in each other's soul, that's how you change the future. That's how you, with acceptance and hope and love, right? To not perpetuate the pain, but to embrace the pain, as Rumi says, right? The great poet Rumi. If you embrace the pain, sometimes the light comes through that pain.
We all make decisions and choices in life that are compromises, and the society or the culture around us makes us compromise. But in war and during those times, then you really, like you say, your choices are narrowed very, very sharply. My dream is that the audience is actually girls and women that age, the same age as the lead character, because I think that's who I made this film for, if you like, as a major audience. I mean, I think older audiences, younger, can enjoy it. I mean, it's a weird thing to say it's a kind of family film. I mean, I wouldn't, not below maybe teenagers, but it's a good, because it's from a teenager's eye view, and it's also, I hope it sparks a lot of debate about the characters and about why these people make those decisions, and a lot of debate about, why we have to why tolerance is important.
Yeah, I think it's a really important story to tell, to maybe to learn from history, that to prevent it not happening again.
This year was just a fantastic and spectacular year for cinema, particularly the foreign language films. Whether that was Cold War, Roma, Capernaum, Dogman, The Guilty that Jacob, one of our stars, is in, Burning, Shoplifters. I mean, there's just so many films, and then American films like First Reformed that I loved, and Leave No Trace. I thought it was just a great year for cinema, and I think that these streaming wars that are coming, or that are happening now between Amazon and Apple and Netflix and Warner's and all the people that will be joining in, I actually think that it will be good for cinema, and I think that more films will be made. I think people still want to see films at the cinema. The health of the film festival shows you that. In the UK, you had more admissions, actually, than you'd had since 1970. So I think that, cinema is in rude health, and we should be going out there and telling stories that are difficult, telling stories that are challenging, and telling stories that are from all diverse points of view. And I think this is probably a great time for cinema, and that that the end is not nigh, and actually it's as healthy as it's ever been.
The original independent film festivals, and now there are many, so many, right? But the big ones, Berlinale, Cannes, Sundance when it was started, Tribeca when it started, you know, they all started because they wanted to what? Celebrate the auteur, right? Celebrate the fact of the whole collaborative process of script, the people who make the film, the DP, the editor. You know, it is a labor of love that takes many, many, many years to bring to the screen. But in any great art form, you know, moving pictures is a way to connect people or make people think about things the same way books used to, and music and art and all great forms of creative endeavors. So I think as these festivals start becoming more festivals, and you'll see there are a lot of niche festivals. I mean, there's LGBTQ festivals, there's, you know, Black History Month festivals, there's Native American festivals. I mean, you know, each festival is now finding a niche for themselves because they realize there still is a need or a desire for the communal experience of, you know, getting dressed, getting in your car, going to the festival, buying a ticket, and sitting in a theater with people because you chose to see that movie.
Bad times politically will always, you know, from my perspective, will always end up in good things because people become engaged more, you know, radicalized more, or engaged with the arts more. And I think that's a good thing. And I think that, you know, cinema is already benefiting from that, and these other factors, you know, including the amount of money that's now going into production, which is not just for big superhero movies, it's for real, what I would call real cinema and real diverse stories around the world. I mean, you know, if a film like Shoplifters can take 70 million worldwide, you know, a small Japanese film about a family, I think that's really great news for everybody.
I'm very grateful to not only the Santa Barbara International Film Festival, who had world premiere The Birdcatcher, but I am, with all the soul in my body, so grateful to the Garden State Film Festival, because I was born and raised in New Jersey. And, you know, similar to Esther in the beginning where, you know, she dreams of Hollywood stardom, you know, I too, as every, I think, young girl of a certain age, had that. And to be able to have the Garden State Film Festival call me on a Sunday personally to tell me that they chose my film as the opening night film of the Garden State Film Festival was like winning an Oscar. So I can't tell you how thrilled I am that it's going to be opening night, and my whole family and friends and everybody gets to come and celebrate with me.
Here, I'll show you.
What? Yeah!
I might have found somebody I can rely on.
What do you want to be when you grow?
An actress.
You shouldn't look at disabilities as a problem. You should look at it as a possibility. I think that's my message.
We're all human beings on this planet, and if we just see the humanity in each other and give the respect of that humanity in each other, how powerful could the world be?
When I aim at something, I very rarely miss.